bills in the House. In this regard, members with legislative proposals dealing with the related issues may opt to co-sponsor legislative proposals for introduction in the House. Honorable members, when adopting the report of the Procedure and House Rules Committee on amendments to standing orders, the National Assembly of the 12th Parliament also noted that there is need to amend a number of statutes that have implication on the rules of procedure. The intention of the proposed amendments is to keep them in accord with the Constitution, related laws, and the reality of modern times. The Hansard of the afternoon session of Tuesday, 31st May 2022, records that the committee also tabled 4 draft legislative proposals containing amendments to statutes that were proposed to be urgently considered to operationalize certain procedures of the House. Honorable members, the said proposals are: 1, the draft Public Finance Management Amendment Bill 2022 that sought to enlarge the time for consideration of the budget policy statement from 14 to 21 days. 2, the draft Political Parties Amendment Bill 2022 that sought to require the Register of Political Parties to convey certified copies of all coalition agreements to the clerk of each House of Parliament. 3, the draft Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Amendment Bill 2022 that sought to streamline the membership of the Committee of Powers and Privileges. 4, the draft Petitions to Parliament Procedure Amendment Bill 2022 that sought to involve the Public Petitions Committee in the determination of the admissibility of petitions and the full consideration of all admissible petitions. 5, the draft Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill 2022 that sought to ensure the negative resolutions of the House on statutory instruments are implemented. Honorable members, to this end, the acting clerk of the National Assembly has informed me that the legislative proposals have been finalized. Consequently, to the extent that the 12th Parliament did resolve that the proposals be prioritized, I direct that they be urgently introduced in the House. Honorable members, I have yet another communication to make. Can the members at the bar take their seats? Honorable members, this communication relates to the constitution of the House Business Committee in this session of the 13th Parliament, the first session. Honorable members, as you are aware, today is the first sitting of the House following the official opening of the 13th Parliament last week. By practice, the first business of the House at the beginning of each session is the formation of the House Business Committee. Subsequently, the committee, once constituted, proceeds to determine and set the business of the House. The next set of business that follows is the consideration and passage of several procedural motions under Standing Order 97 relating to limitation of time during debates in the House. Thereafter, with respect to the first sitting following a general election, the House debates the President's address as contemplated under Standing Order 24-6. Honorable members, as you will note from today's order paper, the motion for the approval of the membership of the House Business Committee is not one of the business to be transacted today. This is because a question has since arisen relating to the constitution of the committee with respect to the names of persons under paragraphs B, C, D, and E of Standing Order 171-1. To illustrate this, honorable members, allow me to refer to the Standing Order 171-1. This rule provides that the House Business Committee consists of the following. A, the Speaker, who shall be the chairperson. B, the leader of the majority party or representative designated in writing. C, the leader of the minority party or representative designated in writing. D, the whip of the majority party or representative designated in writing. E, the whip of the minority party or representative designated in writing. F, 9 other members who shall be nominated by the parliamentary parties and approved by the House at the commencement of every session, reflecting the relative majorities of the seats held by each of the parliamentary parties in the National Assembly and taking into consideration the interests of the parties and other than parliamentary parties and independents. Honorable members, from what I have just read, you will note that the House Business Committee consists of a total of 14 members. It is also notable that besides the Speaker, 4 members sit in the committee by virtue of their offices. These are the leader of the majority party, the leader of the minority party, the whip of the majority party, and the whip of the minority party. Honorable members, to this end, I wish to inform you that I received a letter dated 21st September 2022 from the Secretary General of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, the Honorable Junet Mohammed, MP. In the letter, the member for Suna East also signs off as the majority whip of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. In a nutshell, honorable members, the letter conveys that at its parliamentary group meeting held on the 16th to 17th September 2022, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party elected the following as its House leaders in the National Assembly. 1, the Honorable James Opio Wandai, MP, as the leader of the majority. 2, the Honorable Robert Mbui, MP, as the deputy leader of the majority. 3, the Honorable Junet Mohammed as the majority whip. And 4, the Honorable Sabina Chege, MP, as the deputy majority whip. Honorable members, I also wish to inform you that I received another letter dated 22nd September 2022 from the member for South Mugirango, the Honorable Silvanos Osoro Onyengo, MP. In the letter, which he also signs off as the majority chief whip of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition, he notifies that in discharge of his role under Standing Order 119A7, the Kenya Kwanza Coalition held its parliamentary group meeting on 16th and 17th September 2022 at Sawela Lodge in Naivasha and elected the following persons to the specified offices. 1, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, MP, the member for Kikuyu constituency, leader of the majority party. 2, the Honorable Owen Baya, MP, the member for Kilifi North constituency, deputy leader of the majority party. Honorable members, in this letter, the member for South Mugirango also attaches an excerpt of the minutes of the parliamentary group meeting and a list of members who attended the meeting signed by the attendees. Honorable members, on the same day, I also received a letter from the member for Kikuyu constituency, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, MP, dated 22nd September 2022. In the letter, the member for Kikuyu constituency signs off as leader of the majority party and conveys that the Kenya Kwanza Coalition held its parliamentary group meeting on 16th and 17th September at Sawela Lodge in Naivasha and elected the following persons as the chief whip and deputy chief whip. The Honorable Silvanos Osoro Onyengo, MP, member for South Mugirango, chief whip, and the Honorable Naomi Jilo Wago, MP, member for Marsabit County, as the deputy chief whip. Similarly, honorable members, the member for Kikuyu constituency also attached an excerpt of the minutes of the parliamentary group meeting and a list of members who attended the meeting, duly signed by the attendees. In his letter to me, the member for Kikuyu constituency indicated that he was discharging his role under Standing Order 20A3A, which requires the name of the person designated as the majority party whip and majority party deputy whip to be communicated to the Speaker by the leader of the majority party. Honorable members, on 22nd September 2022, I also received a letter dated 21st September 2022 from the Honorable Jeremiah Ngayu Kioni, identifying the following members as the leadership of the Jubilee Party parliamentary group in the House. The Honorable Shurie Abd Omar MP, member from Balambala, as the leader. The Honorable Samuel Arama MP, member for Nakuru Town West, as the whip. The Honorable Sarah Korere MP, member for Laikipia North, as deputy whip. And the Honorable Adan Kainan MP, member for Elders, as secretary. Can the members at the bar take their seats? Honorable members, order. The distinguished immediate former member for Ndarakwa constituency signs over as Secretary General of the Jubilee Party, and in the letter, he also notes that Jubilee Party remains a member of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. Honorable members, ordinarily and in keeping with the requirement of Standing Order 19A14 and 20A5, following receipt of the names and attendant accompanying documentation, as your Speaker, I'm supposed to convey the names of the leadership of the majority party and that of the minority party and the whips of any parliamentary party in the House to the assembled House. If the House is not sitting, the standing orders require me to notify members in the usual manner of Speaker's notification to all members. Honorable members, in this action, it is this action that subsequently sets in motion the next steps. In this case, the clerk would write to the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party, copying the respective whips, asking for the names of the 9 members nominated to sit in the House Business Committee under Standing Order 17(1)F. Thereafter, the clerk would publish the names in the order paper for approval by the House at its first sitting session, which would have been today. Honorable members, faced with these conflicting correspondences, you will agree with me that it is impossible for me and the clerk to discharge those requirements of the standing orders at this moment. You will also agree with me that from the foregoing, 3 pertinent questions arise at this moment. These are: 1, who is the bona fide leader of the majority party and who is the bona fide leader of the minority party in this House? 2, in absence of a House Business Committee, what business is to be transacted by this House for the next few days before the question of the leadership of the majority and the minority party is determined? 3, before the question of leadership of the majority and the minority party is determined, who is to move the business in the House and whose moving is ordinarily reserved for the party leaders? With respect to the first question, honorable members, I will reserve the rest of today's sitting to allow the House to address me on this matter so that I can make a reasoned retreat and ruling. So I can retreat to make a reasoned ruling and guidance to the House. Honorable members, with respect to the second question on what business to be transacted by this House for the next few days before the question of the leadership of the majority and the minority parties determined, Allow me to guide you as follows. First, honorable members, as you are aware, Standing Order 30 hours of meeting provides that the House shall meet on Tuesdays at 2:30 p.m. for the afternoon sitting, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. for the morning sitting, and 2:30 p.m. for the afternoon sitting, and Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. for the afternoon sittings. It is therefore clear that with or without any scheduled business, the House must sit on the prescribed days and times. Indeed, honorable members, Standing Order 30 dictates that tomorrow the House shall sit in the morning from 9:30 a.m. and in the afternoon commencing at 2:30. That is mandatory, and your Speaker has no authority to stop commencement of a sitting of the House unless in very exceptional circumstances which are not obtaining here. Indeed, as your Speaker, I have constitutional obligation to ensure continuity of the business of this House at all times. The only authority granted to the Speaker with respect to the time of sitting is to vary the time of commencement or adjournment of the sittings, but only for the convenience of the House. Honorable members, further, the Standing Order 38 providing for the preparation and circulation of the order paper obligates the clerk to prepare an order paper indicating the business to be transacted by the House. In this regard, it's also mandatory that before every sitting of the House, there should be an order paper which will be published on the parliamentary website and made available to members at least 12 hours before the House meets. It is for this reason that I authorize the clerk to publish the order paper that is before you this afternoon, and which she also published on the website during the weekend. Honorable members, if you look at the order paper, the business listed there is procedural motions, and for the benefit of new members, a procedural motion is one that concerns the manner or time of consideration of a matter before the House. Procedural motions include motions on limitation of debate, where members are allocated a specific period of time within which they may speak on a matter before the House, and a motion for exemption of business from specified provisions of the standing orders. Honorable members, Standing Order 24.5 provides that whenever the President delivers an address, a member may, as soon as practicable thereafter, lay the address on the table of the House. Standing Order 24.6 further provides that a member may give notice of motion that the thanks of the House be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of the President. But debate on the motion shall not exceed 4 sitting days. What is contemplated under Standing Order 24.6 is that the debate on the speech of the President shall not be interrupted by a dilatory motion. Honorable members, by practice of our Parliament, debate on the President's address is accorded priority before any other business, save for procedural motions. It therefore naturally follows that the business that is to be transacted by the House for the next 4 sittings is debate on the President's address. This therefore settles the second question. Honorable members, allow me to also note that the debate on the speech of the President ordinarily accords first-time members the solemn opportunity to make their maiden speech in the House. This opportunity for new members, in my view, should not be curtailed by the question of the majority and minority leadership and the composition of the House Business Committee. However, honorable members, it's worth noting that the continuity of the business of the House will not and should not in any way be seen to prejudice the determination of the question of the leadership of the majority and minority parties in the House. In this regard, since there is no objection as to who the Deputy Speaker is, I will exercise my powers under Standing Order number 1 and authorize the Deputy Speaker to move certain business as follows. At Order number 5, I will allow the Deputy Speaker to lay certain papers in the House which have a statutory deadline and which the law requires that they must be laid in the House when it first sits, which is today. 2, at order number 6, I will allow the Deputy Speaker to give notice of motion on the noting of the President's address. 3, at order number 8, I will allow the Deputy Speaker to move the procedural motion on limitation of debate on the President's address under Standing Order 97. Moving of the rest of the 10 procedural motions will stand stayed until a later time. And 4, tomorrow morning at order number 8, I will also allow the Deputy Speaker to move the business under Standing Order 24-6, being the motion on debate on the President's address. This shall give honorable members an opportunity to debate the President's address for 4 sitting days, starting tomorrow morning, Wednesday, 5th October 2022, until Tuesday, 11th October 2022. Honorable members, this now settles the third and last question. The House is accordingly guided, and may I now ask the clerk to read the next orders. After the House concludes with order number 8, I'll allow the honorable members to address me on the question of majority and minority party leadership. Next order.